and taking the jump into the field, you have doubts, concerns, you think you have to be 100% perfect. And it's that whole thing about perfectionism, or um, how you were raised. It could come from that, or what you experienced with something else in the past, and there's a trauma associated with that. It's a bad experience, and so that loops in your head, and you stop from making that. You stop making moves. You just keep accumulating knowledge, and you never go forward. And I have seen this. I have seen it with friends, family. I've seen it time and time again, where um, a friend of mine kept just adding degrees, not in the legal field, but in another field, and it would never jump into the field, never use what they've learned, because they were afraid of rejection, afraid that they didn't measure up, and that we all face this. But we all jumped in without experience, all of us. There's very few that have had internships. When you look at the percentages, if you measured that out, it would be very few people that had that opportunity. It just wasn't there over the last many years. Okay, some people get them, other people struggle to get internships, and so we get them. Other people struggle to get internships, and so we learned a lot before we jumped in. Some of us learned nothing before we jumped in, and that was me. So you're like, well, Leslie, that was so long ago. That's not how it is now. No, it is like that now, because it is how you present yourself. And it's not how you present yourself in your cover letter. I mean, in your resume. It's in the cover letter, totally in the cover letter, as your sales tool. So you've got to take action at some point and stop just adding to your repertoire of learning, because you'll be in that never ending, or on the never ending hamster wheel of learning. And there's nothing wrong with learning, but we learn on the job, and our journey never stops as paralegals. Even after 32 years, there's tons to learn. And that's where we're excited, because we've seen a lot after being in the field for so long. And then when we learn something new, it's like, wow, I didn't know that. So walk away totally from perfection. You want to strive for that on the job, but when you're preparing for the job, you don't have to be perfect. Okay? You just don't. You apply, and you apply, and you do, and you go for it. And if you wait longer than 12 months after you've done what you can in the learning area, and you wait too long, then it starts to be this just another rejection, or just another feeling of not measuring up. And you will measure up, but that takes some time on the job. Okay, so for me, I really looked at, boy, I still don't know a lot after 2 years. I knew a lot, but then there was puzzle pieces, and I couldn't see how some things fit together. Okay, and I was still learning the lingo, this lingo you learn in the law firm too. So the majority of your learning will come from that action time and getting your foot in the door, and then you're going to be learning so fast your head will be spinning, and you're going to take good notes while you're learning. So I had to look at, why am I having doubts? Why is the rejection hitting me hard when I wouldn't hear back from people, the workplaces I had applied to? Yeah, it could feel very devastating, especially when you're desperate for a job, like I was in Florida. And I waited for 3 weeks and heard nothing, until 2 attorneys called me back, and they clued me in on these things, that I needed to use my cover letter to explain how I could help them. Okay, now there were 2 reasons over 32 years that I could look back and go, I have to not want this job so badly, because it may not be a good play. I wasn't hired sometimes ever, but sometimes I found out just by hearing people talk about a law firm, you know, and that's where I've worked primarily, that was a horrendous place to be. And then I never said I applied there, and I would just go, wow, that was a blessing not to be hired. And then the other reason that I wouldn't be hired is because I wasn't presenting myself correctly. And I needed to use that cover letter to the max. But then as I was trying to explain myself in the cover letter as to how I would assist the attorney, how would I help the attorney, that's what made me see that I needed to learn some things, maybe some additional things on my own. And then I could say, and you know, I say this in my videos about researching paralegal duties, but learning how to perform some of those, that will take you into place here. And also being able to say, I know a few of these duties. You don't say that you're an expert. They know you're a beginner. You just say, I'm familiar with a few of these duties. I did research on my own. But that information goes in your cover letter, as well as articulating it, talking about it in the interview. You're never going to sit there and say, oh, I know everything there is to know about real estate law or family law or criminal law, name them all. But you have to know a few things, okay? Not from an attorney's perspective. What do paralegals do in that area of law? What are their duties, okay? So I hope this was helpful to you today, to not sit back. You've got to take massive action in this regard, and not think it's only one way in a box, maybe what other people have told you. This is how you get the attention of the hiring attorney, by learning a few of those duties and talking about it. So I hope this was helpful to you. Let me know. Go to the website, paralegalcoffeetalk.com, and look under every tab. Investigate. Be a detective. Be an information hoarder, but don't let that stop you from making the jump and taking action, okay? Just take good notes and then go, okay, how am I going to use this today? What am I going to do with it? Not sit on it, but what am I going to do with it today? And I don't need to be perfect, all right? Have a great day, and I'll talk to you in the next video.